Paul says, don't be proud. Don't see yourself don't feel that you too much. Paul says, God has distributed to everyone measure of grace. The reason I'm more effective than you is because I use grace more than you. I'm more diligent, like Paul said to Archippus, pay attention. I pay more attention to what I have, and you don't pay attention to what you have. I am more productive than you because you are just there. Me, I'm using, just like the parable of the talents. One was given how many? The other one was given how many? Another one was given how many? The one that was given one did not use it. If he had used it, when the Lord came, he would have added. Do you know your growth is tied to your consecration to your calling? When you are consecrated and dedicated in doing that thing that God has called you to do, you will begin to see yourself making progress in the spirit. God will be adding to you. I was not like this 5 years ago. I was not like this 7 years ago. But my consistency, inconsistency lies in the power. My consistency is adding to me. I can tell you that this conference that I've come, there is an upgrade in my life. We finished our conference on Sunday. While I was just lying beside my bed, thanking God for the success of the meeting, actually, we had a great time. The turn-up was amazing. The power of God was amazing. Great time. And I was just thanking God because we didn't plan the conference. I was just praying in my balcony one day, and the Lord said to me, hold the conference, hold the conference. So there was no money anywhere, but we just somehow were able to pay for everything, and we did it. And the Lord told me, on account of this conference, I have upgraded you. I heard it clear. What if I had not obeyed? It means that I would remain in one place. Do you know that the last time you obeyed God was the last time you heard him clearly? So the more you stay, many of you, for example, how many of you somehow you have realized that there is a calling of an intercessor upon your life? Let me see you. Don't be ashamed. Realize. Okay. Drop it. How many of you realize that there is a calling of a teacher upon your life? Stop. How many of you realize that there is a calling of an evangelist upon your life? This evangelist matter. We need to teach you an evangelism. People, they fear to raise an ear. How many of you realize that somehow God is calling you into pastoral ministry? You see, when you realize such a thing, the first thing to do is to report to your pastor, the person you are accountable to. Then if your pastor knows the Lord, if he fears the Lord and he desires you to grow in your calling, he will now begin to disciple you, and giving you activities that are consistent with that calling, then you will begin to grow. Pastor Shalom said something that anything left to nature will what? Will decay. Anything left to nature. If you just say, God will call me, God will call me, you don't do anything about it, you will end up not fulfilling that calling. So Paul said to Archippus, he said, take heed. This calling is there. You have received it. Take heed so that you fulfill it. Because whether or not you will fulfill the call does not depend on God. It depends on you. How far you go with God does not depend on God. It depends on you. So you pay attention to it. Will make progress. Verse 4. Now, as we have many parts in the body, and all the parts do not have the same function. Do you understand that? It is self-explanatory. How many of us are here? We are more than 100. None of us have the same function in Strong Tower Glorious Church. None of us. Just imagine there was no Pastor Mantis in this church. Just imagine there was no Pastor Steve. Pastor Steve, I miss him. How is he doing? Imagine there was no Pastor Steve. Imagine there is no bro, the youth president. Imagine there was no choir leader. Imagine it's just our daddy. He won't even live long. Am I being realistic? It can't be one man show. They have to be associate pastors. And these associate pastors are as important as the main pastor, because without them you can't grow. And without you they can't grow. We need each other. Imagine me saying that I want to come alone. This man didn't come. How many of you are blessed because he came? No, talk to me now. How many of you are blessed because I came with my keyboardist? Yes. So he is as important in this service as I am. He is as important in this service as I am. Different functions, different abilities, different potentials, serving one Lord, edifying one body, advancing one body. One. If you are here, 2024, take ministry more seriously. Take ministry more seriously. I give this to you as an instruction. Find out what God has called you to do. And see, these things are easy to get. The last thing I'm going to share is how to discover your calling. These things are easy. Easy. That's the last thing I'm going to share with you. But let's check this out. In the same way, we who are many are one body in Christ and individually members of one another. Verse 6. According to the grace given us, we have different gifts. If prophecy, use it according to the standard of faith. In other words, there are people that are gifted with the gift of prophecy. So Paul says, if your portion is prophecy, use it according to the standard of faith. Again, if service here speaks of church work. The usher is in service. The protocol is in service. The traffic is in service. Those that are cleaning the restroom in service. If you are called to serve. I have 3 peers. Two. Him and one of my son, Pastor Prince. Pastor Shalom assists me when I'm coming here and when I'm around Benin. That is service. He is serving me. Serving God, but serving me. As he serves me, he serves God. Do you understand that? Those that are in the kitchen now, they may not be enjoying this thing you are enjoying now, but they are in service. The same way God will bless you, the same way He will bless them. Do you know that nobody is inferior in the church? When we begin to compare ourselves with ourselves, we are foolish, we are not wise. If teaching, you are not here now. If you have been called to teach, teach. Again, 8. If exhorting there are those that are gifted with the ability to exhort. When 1 or 2 brothers gather, just give them 5 minutes. They can stir fire. Do you have some of them here? Mighty people. They don't give them much time. Oh, brother, we are just here. Can you call on Sister Belief? Can we call on Brother Temitope? Can we call on Brother this, Brother Kinde? Can we call? They give you 15 minutes. They may not teach exegetically, theologically, and systematically, but just a portion of the Bible. Oh my God. They will begin to exhort. Beautiful people. Giving with generosity. In other words, there are those that have been called to give. In meetings like this, they can give their last cover. You know, in the book of Acts, there is a young man that the apostle called Son of Consolation. I have one son like that. He came with me last year, fair, tall. Kai, that guy can give his hair. He can give anything. In fact, the 2 phones I've used in recent time, we bought them. Now this one is bad. My phone is bad now. Bad. I use Samsung. I don't use any product other than Samsung. Town. He has not been in town. And he's on his way from his parent place to Warina because we have a major workers meeting on Saturday. When he comes and sees this phone, I can tell you that even though he does not have money now, he will be so grieved in his heart. He sees himself as someone that is called to support me. There are people like that. Called to give. It's their responsibility to take care of the needs of church. While they are in church, they are looking for what is not okay. Every pastor needs those kind of people. When they are in church, they are checking the way the fan is doing. They are checking the way the sound is doing. They are called. They do it. They don't do it. Those that are not called to do that thing, or those that does not have the grace, when they are giving each other, they feel they are helping the pastor. Okay, no time. It's 10 o'clock. We need to close now. Okay, bow your head. Let's pray. Shewa wants to go to work. She's giving me signal that she wants to go to work. So they feel they are helping the man of God. There's one boy that used to belong to our ministry. Gives, does the little. Not be saying a better money, but at least in the try. So there was one time he did wrong and I disciplined him. You put on me, I can be very blunt. Disciplined him and he told someone, after all I've done, that you know where he's at. He's looking for honor. He's looking for recognition. He has come to beg, I've forgiven him. But I'm just using it as an example. But there are those that even, okay, this is my son I just talked about. Something happened. This is very personal, but let me just share it with you. Last 3 weeks, he sent me 5,000 naira. His tithe. He paid tithe directly to me. He did the job, and they paid him 50,000 naira. He sent me a tithe of 5,000 naira. Then he sent my wife 40,000 naira to buy whatever is not in the house. If there is no salt, no Maggi, small things in the kitchen. Then I told him, you sent me 5,000, you have 5,000. How come you sent Mama 40,000? How much do you have? Then says 5,000. What do you want to do with 5,000? Say, no, we'll use it for anything. And he didn't feel like that. On Christmas, before Christmas, because I was not, my house, we don't do things. We were not planning for Christmas. It was not, my wife is so content. So my heart was just in the conference. Just called me. When they say, Daddy, I want to do Christmas fast now. But money not there, I want to do fast. I said, what will we go do? Before I look, just send me something. Say, at least to cook, to do. That one is his calling. We need to buy a share, minister share, wanted to change it. I said, this share, I don't want to, that's earlier this year now. I said, I don't want to enter I don't want to use this share again. I said, I have some more money, what do we do? It's okay. I was helping him to save one of his money. I'm a very terrible mentor. If I want to mentor you, everything about your life, I say, okay, you need to do that project this year. I don't want you to use that money. Send it to my account. Say, yes, sir. And I will keep it. Not for everybody. Those that have sense. Not those that will suspect you. You know that you can only lead people as long as they want to go. As long as they want to go. Those that you can't follow a man you don't love. You can't follow a man you don't trust. Say, okay, Daddy, that money when that money we could just okay. And God has blessed him extraordinarily. 2 years ago, he came to me that the Lord said his first 1 million naira this year, he should give it as a seed. Called to give. There are people like that. Do you know that God's work in every generation is advanced by the prosperity of his people? Do you know that history of revival goes with prosperity? If God is moving, it will move people to give. So in the early church, there is a young man called, they changed his name to a son of consolation. He studied Acts of the Apostles chapter 4. They called him son of consolation. He can give anything. Give anything. I do full-time ministry. There are some persons, when I needed to meet a particular need, if I tell them I have a need, they do it with joy. They may not have it. Papa needs something. This man of God needs something. Because there's a calling to give. Do you know that Daddy is surviving just because of tithe and offering? If all the tithe and offering goes to him, the church won't grow. There are those that heaven has positioned around the world that are helping to meet his need. Those people, they are called to do it. Apostle Roman said there's somebody that every month you must give him $1 million. Every month. Say God told him. Every month. Every month. Every month. And you see, I don't want to talk about giving. I don't know how to preach giving. But you see, there's so much blessings attached to giving to your man of God. I tell you. Little things are like as we enter this year, just vow that I will be recharging this, my man of God. If it's 500 naira every month. It can be Pastor Martins. It will be Tabia Father in the Lord. I will be. You will be amazed.